Hello, good afternoon, Fairy Collective. Welcome to Heaven Sent to Rome. I feel like I have been on a little bit of a roll this week with doing readings, so I'm really pleased with that. I was really hoping to be able to start doing more readings more frequently, so I am very pleased to be coming to the end of my week as planned with a weekend to, with a oh my goodness, with a reading to close out the week. Goodness gracious, did it need to be that difficult to say that? So, okay. So I've gotten quite a few readings done within the past week or so, and that energy seems to be, I said it before, it was fairly insistent. So this reading is just going to follow up on those readings. We'll see what comes of this, and I'm just going to get into the reading right now. I'm just going to go ahead and start pulling cards. So I think I'll do 3 and see what is the energy about for the end of this week, going into this weekend, maybe even into early next week, okay? So I'll just be pulling from the top. Yes, I have already shuffled the cards like 5 or 6 times or something. The bee and the pomegranate. Productivity, beautiful. So right away, that's telling me that the collective has been extremely productive in this season, and we already know this because that energy has been very strong this spring and this summer. We have been on it as far as the things that we have been trying to get done. Our creativity is up. Things that we're doing for business, home, caring for the family, all that is really up, right? So I'm just going to continue playing the cards. The Coyote and Datura, Deceit. All right, and for the last card here. Oh, this energy is absolutely incredible today. I love it. So, as I was just saying, we have the bee and pomegranate, productivity, the coyote and datura, deceit, the hare and the oak, new opportunities. Okay, I feel like I don't even need to make this a very long read because this seems fairly simple and straightforward to me. So I was just talking about how this energy is already telling me that the collective has been extremely productive in this season, right? We have been taking care of our homes, our families, our personal needs, our health, our environment, the communities around us, if that's something that we've been called to do. Whatever it is, we've been extremely productive this season. And a huge reason for that is because the collective is no longer capable of being deceived here in this time. Now, I do talk a lot about colonization, racism, white supremacy, those kinds of things that affect the collective here in the Americas, globally, yes, but also here in the Americas. So there's been a lot going on in the United States as far as politics and so forth and so on. And, a great deal of what goes on in the United States is extremely deceptive. The stuff that people see on the news, the things that come up on the internet, even just people themselves are liars, they're deceivers, there's a lot of scams, white supremacy, colonization, racism, that whole thing is a scam. We were scammed for 500 years into slavery, into oppression, into various situations, Jim Crow, lynching, so forth and so on. So all that deceit, all that just false, fraudulent energy that has been really the prominent primary energy of the United States, the Western civilization at large, the world at large, as it's become this modern iteration of reality and life. It's all very deceptive. All of it is fake. It's all an illusion. And for the most part, I feel like most people tend to be aware of this on a surface level, but I don't think people really understand what it means that we live in such a deceptive, deceitful, reality, right? Because when you live in a reality like this, it's really difficult to tell what is true, what isn't true, what is really happening, what is going on in your life, what is going on around you. How do you know what reality even is, right? I'm not going to get too deep into all of that because that's probably a whole different reading. But the point being, especially in terms of those of us who have had to survive a situation in which people were being deceitful to us, it's very difficult to be productive in that kind of a situation. Productive in terms of being able to work for yourself, live for yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your own needs, right? When you're in an enslaved condition or an oppressed condition or in a condition in which your life is being controlled by outside forces, whatever it is, you can't really be productive in that life, right? People think productivity in this life, in this iteration of life, means going to work and making money, right? But that's not actually true. That's actually part of the huge deceit that we've been subjected to. Working and getting paid scraps and crumbs for basically spending your entire life enriching somebody else is not productivity. It's a waste. It's a complete and utter waste of your life. And that's why we have here the deceit in the reverse here, upside down with all this dark energy around it. And on each side of that, you have these two positive energies framing that situation, because the collective has now become so aware of that deceit that deceit no longer affects us. That deceit still exists in this reality. Every single day you can wake up and see all kinds of fake, false information, fake, false media. All kinds of things are fake and deceitful in this reality. Your friends lie to you, your family lies to you, your boss lies to you, people around you lie to you. You know, it's all over the place. Everything is one big fat lie. It really is. And in order to navigate a reality like this, it has been very necessary in a lot of circumstances throughout our lives in this reality to lie to ourselves, even to be deceitful to ourselves, to be dishonest with ourselves, or to not really be able to acknowledge our own feelings. Honesty is not a luxury we are given in this reality. We are not allowed to tell the truth. If you are enslaved by a white slave owner, I'm going to go back to slavery in this circumstance because this is extremely relevant to this. If you are enslaved by a white slave owner, first of all, you don't get to go up into that white slave owner's face and tell them that what they're doing to you is wrong, right? Not that it needs to be said, but you certainly don't get to go up to that person and address them and tell them they're wrong, do you? No. You have to lie to yourself and live in this situation as if you really are, in fact, a slave. And you know deep down in your soul that it is not true. You know you are not meant to be a slave. You know you are not meant to be controlled by another person. You know your life is not meant to be that way. So you have to spend your life basically lying to yourself in order to survive that kind of a situation. Okay, so with this energy here, with the hare and the oak, with the new opportunities on the other side of that deceit, that's telling us that, once again, the collective is so aware of the deceitful nature of this reality that it no longer touches us. It doesn't matter how deceptive and fraudulent and illusory this reality is. We can walk through this thing just fine. You know why? Because we have learned to be real in this reality. We have dropped all that fake shit. We've dropped the mask, so to speak. We've dropped playing games and allowing people to be deceptive in our faces and to lie to our faces, or to just do things even out of ignorance, even if their intention wasn't necessarily to be deceptive. Maybe they're just stupid. Maybe they don't know any better. Maybe they have the wrong information. You know what I mean? So it's not necessarily an intentional evil or something, in not in every circumstance, but it is true that at the end of the day, if you know better than the person who you're dealing with, if you have better information, or if you know you're able to go out and find the information that's missing, and you turn around and you go do that, and then you find that this person did not have correct information, or whatever the case may have been, then, that puts us in the position to be the person with the power in that situation, with the intelligence in that situation. So we no longer have to be concerned about people being deceptive to us, or this reality in general being deceptive. We have now learned to be real with ourselves and real with others. We no longer need to cater to other people's feelings. We don't need to behave contrary to our own feelings in order to make other people comfortable. Those days are over. And so with that energy now being what we are using instead of that old, false, deliberately fake energy that we really had to survive with, now we're going to find ourselves experiencing a new reality that comes with brand new opportunities, a brand new way of experiencing life that doesn't involve being deceived and having to deceive others, right? And so, with all of that in place, now we get to be truly productive. Because, again, as I said before, when you're living in a situation in which you're being deceived, or you have to deceive yourself and others around you, or whatever the case may be, you're not really being productive, okay? So all these people who think they've gained success by living in this world, by doing the jobs and working for other people and making the money and paying the bills and all that kind of stuff, they're lying to themselves, they're deceiving themselves, they're being deceived by others. They're allowing themselves to be deceived this way, which is really the worst part about it. So you're not really being productive. You're wasting your life and wasting your mind, wasting your intelligence for a lie, right? And so those of us who have gotten past all that, who know better now, our lives are going to be filled with brand new opportunities that are real, that are truthful, that are genuine. The connections that we make with other people are going to be finally real, because they're not going to be based on fake transactions, trying to get something out of people, trying to get money out of people, all this fake crap that everybody does, trying to chase clout, trying to get views, trying to go viral online. All that shit is over with, okay? And so now you will be able to express yourself freely. You will be able to create the things that you truly enjoy creating, do the things that you truly enjoy doing, and have experiences that are in alignment with the true nature of this reality, because the true nature of this reality supports actual connections, actual productivity. You are a co-creator on this planet, on this earth plane. You are meant to be using your energy to produce beautiful, whatever it is. You can be an artist, a dancer, a singer, a writer, all kinds of things, right? There are so many other things that don't even have to do with art, but whatever it is, you're meant to be skilled at it. You're meant to be enjoying the process of learning that skill. You're meant to be sharing that skill with others, like-minded individuals and groups who are like you. You're meant to be going out there and sharing your gifts with others who are able to receive you properly, to receive you in the way in which you should be received, with respect, with dignity, with maturity, right? With guidance if you're younger, for those who are younger and who may need some more time learning, or whatever it is, that even if you're not younger, even if you're still learning, people who are able to guide you properly into what it is that you're trying to achieve, right? So those days of being, taken advantage of, and people just trying to use you, or, do all those nasty, terrible energies that we've been dealing with for all these years, all our lives. That's all over and done with. And I'm really happy to see that this is the culmination of all that energy that I had been bringing up before, because I was really wondering where it was coming to. And I'm really glad that it's coming to speak about the collective. A lot of my readings recently have been focused on those other crazies, okay, those other weirdos. And I have been really wanting to get back to speaking directly to the collective's energy and what it is that we are dealing with in our own little reality, in our own world, in our own timeline. So we don't want to be all tied up and entangled with the others, that other group of crazy, nasty, evil, deceitful, deceptive, lying individuals. We want no parts of what they're doing. We don't want anything to do with those kinds of people anymore because they're trash. They have brought nothing into our lives except waste and destruction and heartbreak and loss and all those other things. The coyote in the datura plant here in the middle, the datura is a poisonous plant, and the datura can also cause you to have hallucinations and go crazy, right? And so the datura in that sense can be a deceptive plant, causing hallucinations and that kind of thing, right? Causing you to lose your grip on reality, your sense of reality. And that is very much what that other group of people is. There are people who have been poisoned in some way, shape, or form. Whatever it is, they have a soul poison, a mental poison, whatever, whether it's a poison or some, I don't know what to call it, but the datura plant being a poison gives me this vision of like a poison seeping into these people's souls consistently from some unknown source somewhere in the universe. Like it's this weird, creepy feeling that I'm seeing a vision of it almost too. So it's very strange, that vision that I'm having while I'm talking about this. So yeah, these people have been trapped in their own delusions and their own deceitfulness, and they are very much going to be stuck in that world for as long as it takes them to figure it out, or whatever happens to them, right? We're no longer responsible for those people, and that's exactly why this energy is coming out the way it's coming out, because that energy is upside down. The other energies here, the bee and the hare, are looking like they're moving towards something. They're going forward. They're going ahead. That hare looks busy. That hare looks like it's got things to do, right? The bee is always flitting around, doing things, getting its nectar for its flowers and going to feed the queens, right? These two animals, the coyote is also a very busy animal, but in this energy, in the reverse, it's not. It is a very false negative energy, and I'm not even going to really explain much more beyond that. These two other energies are the energies that we really want to focus on here as we move past this weekend and into next week. So really keep it up, Fairy Collective, because you are out here slaying, getting the bag, doing what is you need to do. You're adulting responsibly, just doing everything correctly. And I am here for it. So I absolutely love this energy. I'm really pleased with this energy this weekend, and I can't wait to see what comes up next after this reading. So that said, I hope you have a wonderful, blessed weekend, and I will see you all in the next reading. Bye.